Pastor Roger here, and today I'm really glad to see you all, but I'm really sad. I'm really sad because it's our last day together in Vacation Bible School. But you know, I guess I shouldn't be sad. I should be overjoyed because of all that we have learned together this week. You've heard some wonderful stories in the Bible relating to God is with you wherever you go. Now today we're going to learn about a person who hurt many people. And do you know why he hurt them? He hurt them because they were following Jesus. Isn't that terrible? But Jesus helped this man learn the truth of how important it is to love and care for others. He taught Saul to go and serve. And this fits so well into our Bible verse this week, which is, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Now the game show today is Face Your Fears. That sounds a little scary, but it still should be really fun. And guess what? You'll see the whiner again. And for our final crafts project, you'll be making some hands. Is that what they are? Hands? Yeah, we're going to be making some hands, but they say on them, "Go serve." So in this final project, you're going to make these hands, or clappers, so that you can use them to thank everyone who serves God, just like you do, by clapping for them. I want you to enjoy this day, and I hope that you've enjoyed this entire week. It was good to get to know you, and certainly good to learn more about God with you. Blessings, and always remember, God is with you wherever you go.
Welcome to Face Your Fear. Our contestants are tested with an unexpected event or request, and we watch their responses. Our first contestant is Saul of Tarsus, a citizen of Rome who is also a Pharisee. He studied the law under Gamaliel. Here is Jerusalem. Quite a pedigree, Saul. Welcome to our show.
I'm not familiar with this game. Will I be expected to eat something disgusting like worms?
No, you're thinking of the wrong show. You're on Face Your Fear.
I'm not afraid of anything. I excel at everything. I know 3 languages, and I am devoted to the traditions of my ancestors. I know the law inside and out.
I understand the high priest has given you permission to travel to Damascus. Your purpose is to arrest Jews who are following the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth and bring them to Jerusalem to be judged?
Yes. So why should I be afraid? The high priest supports my mission, and the synagogues of Damascus will not block my efforts.
I realize you don't fear the mission, but what about the journey?
I'm not traveling alone. The journey will be fine.
Well, we are also sending a member of our staff as a witness to your adventures. This observer will report to us how you handle your fear.
It will be a boring report.
Such a confident person, but there was a reason he was selected for our show. Face Your Fear. Ah, here comes our observer now. How did it go, observer?
It was so scary. We were making good progress to Damascus when a bright light from heaven flashed around Saul.
He was hit by lightning?
No, it was an explosion of light. I had never seen anything like it. Saul fell over, and a voice boomed around us, saying, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" And when Saul asked, "Who are you?" the voice said he was Jesus.
So Saul was on his way to arrest followers of Jesus, and Jesus appeared to him in a vision?
I don't know if he saw Jesus, but he believes he heard Jesus.
How did he handle it?
His companions took him on to Damascus as his voice commanded. They had to lead him because the light blinded him. I came back to report the news to your audience, but I hear Saul is not eating or drinking anything.
So that's how this Pharisee is facing his fear. Thank you, observer. We have a new contestant. Please welcome Ananias of Damascus. You are a follower of Jesus, are you not?
Yes. I'm not sure I want that broadcast all over the place, though.
Well, I see on my card that God is sending you to the place where Saul is staying. He is blind, and you are to heal him?
Oh no. We've all heard about Saul. He's doing evil things, arresting followers of Jesus in Jerusalem. And now he's in Damascus with permission to deport people like me to Jerusalem. Damascus is not a city of Israel. We should be safe here, but we are not. Am I supposed to talk to this man?
Not only are you to talk to him, but you are to also give him his sight back. Yes, he will see you. How will you face your fear?
God is on my team. I need to trust that he will keep me safe. Yes, perhaps he has chosen Saul for a special purpose. If I do not go and talk to Saul, that purpose might not be fulfilled.
The observer will go with you.
Does he have to?
Yes, we need a report so that we know how you face your fear.
I've already told you I'm accepting this call for God.
Still, we want to know how it goes. Isn't it amazing how this show works? First, we talked to Saul, who had no fear, but who was struck blind for doing what he thought was the right thing. Then our next contestant would have been one of Saul's victims, but he was asked to restore Saul's sight. Ananias was fearful, but he went anyway. The observer is back. How'd it go? Is Ananias a free man?
Yes, not only did he heal Saul, but Saul asked to be baptized in Jesus' name. The entire time he was blind, he prayed to God. I guess you could say he finally saw the light.
Ah, I see what you did there.
There's more. After Saul ate some food, he asked to meet with the disciples of Damascus. And now he's spreading the good news of Jesus.
Maybe we should bring the high priest of Gamaliel out onto our show and see how they will face their fear.
When you read the Bible, there's a guy that really stands out, a man named Paul. Paul was a missionary who wrote the books of Romans, Galatians, and many others in the Bible. But what's really incredible is Paul's story before he became a follower of Jesus. He was a very different person. His name wasn't even Paul. It was Saul, and he hated anyone who followed Jesus. Saul tried to do what was right by following the old laws, but he believed anyone who followed Jesus was wrong. So he chased down Christians and captured them. One day, Saul was given permission to go to a town called Damascus and arrest any followers of Jesus that he found there. But an incredible event happened on the road to Damascus. As Saul got closer to the city, a bright light shone from heaven, blinding him. He dropped to the ground and heard a loud voice coming from the sky.
Saul, Saul, why are you out to get me?
Who are you?
I am Jesus, the one you think is wrong. Get up and go to the city. Then you will be told what you need to do next.
Saul got up from the ground, but he was blind. He couldn't see anything. He was led to Damascus by his men, but for 3 full days, he was blind and didn't eat or drink anything. Now in that city there was a man who followed Jesus. His name was Ananias. He also heard the voice of Jesus.
Ananias, go to the house where Saul is. Place your hands on him, so he will be able to see again.
Ananias was scared because he knew Saul had a bad reputation. He knew Saul hated Christians like him, but the Lord said,
Go. Saul is the man I have chosen to share my good news.
So Ananias went to the house where Saul was staying. He put his hands on him and prayed for God to restore Saul's sight. Immediately, Saul could see again. He quickly chose to follow Jesus, got baptized, and regained his strength with some food. Saul stayed in that city and began to share God's good news with everyone. People knew he was the man who used to hate God and Christians, but they saw that now he was different. God had transformed him. He was no longer the Saul that didn't believe in Jesus. Now he was Paul, who spent the rest of his life serving God.
Hi, boys and girls. Wow, it's the last day of Vacation Bible School. Can you believe it? We've had a really good week, learned a lot of good stories, sang a lot of good songs, and made some fun crafts. So today's story is about a guy named Saul and another fellow named Ananias. Ananias, that's it. I'm going to mess up his name several times, I know it. So Saul was kind of a bad guy at this point. He was persecuting or chasing after the people that were, talking about Jesus. And Saul didn't want them to talk about Jesus anymore, so he was giving them a hard time. He was walking to a town called Damascus when a bolt of lightning came out, and Jesus talked to him and asked Saul, "Why are you persecuting me? Stop." And Saul became blind. And so friends of Saul helped him get to Damascus, but he had to sit there for 3 days blind and thinking about how did Jesus appear to him and what was going on. In the meantime, God went to Ananias and said, you got to go help Saul out. And Ananias was like, wait a minute, God, this guy is not a good dude. He's hurting people. God said, trust me, it'll be okay. So Ananias listened to and served the Lord. So today we're making some hand clappers that say, go serve, and yay, Ananias, for doing what God asked you to do. So in your kit, you'll have a ruler, you'll have a couple of rubber bands, and you'll have a piece of foam. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your hand like you were gonna be praying. So you're gonna put your hand on the piece of paper, and what's important is that you uncap your pen and then put your hand on the piece of paper so your fingertips are near the top, because we need a long skinny thing at the bottom, as long as you can possibly make it. So I'm gonna trace my hand, just like this. Doesn't have to be a perfect trace. Just like this. See how I have kind of this long skinny thing at the bottom? And I'm gonna cut out my hand. Really quick. Well, don't do it too quick. And again, if you need help, if there's an older friend or family member around and you need help with the tracing or with cutting out, feel free to ask for help and just take your time. You can pause these things whenever you want, so you can, take your time and get a nice hand. We'll give ourselves a hand when we're done. Okay. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Helps if your scissors are sharp. Mine aren't the greatest in the world. That's why this is a little slow with the foam. But here we go. Okay, so there's my hand. Now, and it's also important to trace your hand on one side of the paper, because we need two of them. So on the other side of the foam, I'm gonna lay my hand down and I'm gonna trace it again. There we go. And there should be plenty of foam for you to do this. So I'm just taking the template that I already made and I'm tracing it. There we go. So I traced it. I'll cut this out. Go. So you can use this. It's kind of like a foam finger that you get at a sporting event, but you can use it whenever you want, when you want to cheer for something or clap for something, or tell people, the good news about Jesus and how Saul is changed forever, just like we're changed forever. When we listen to God and pay attention to what Jesus tells us that we need to do, we're all changed forever, just like Saul was. All right, now I've got two hands. I'll go together like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write go tell, and you can write it wherever you want on the hands, but I'm going to write it on each hand. I'm going to lay them next to each other. I'm going to write go tell. No, go serve. Go serve. This is go serve. I'm going to write go serve because that's what Ananias did, right? He went and he served. He did what God told him to do. He helped Saul and he served. So go serve. Go serve. Go serve. Now we got the ruler. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the ruler in so you can't really see it. So it shouldn't go, you can see, it shouldn't go all the way up. It should go about halfway up. And then we're going to take these rubber bands and wrap them around the base of the hands to hold them on the ruler. Okay, there's one. It's best if you use both of them. I mean, one can kind of work, but two will really make it stable. Around. Just like that. And now we have clever. Go serve. Now, if you have any leftover stickers, and there'll be some stickers in, you can also decorate your hands. And if you want to, I didn't, but there you go. There's your hand clap of go serve. Yay to Ananias for listening to God. And thanks for a great week of Vacation Bible School. I had a great time and can't wait to do it again next year. See you later. God bless.